Good morning. Heather Wildman. I'm a Nuffield Scholar! 2 or 3 years ago, I would never ever have dreamt that I would be able to stand up here to be in front of such an influential, amazing audience as Nuffield. Me, a Cumbrian girl, deported from Cumbria to Scotland, no university or college degrees, but just an ability to talk, to listen, and a determination to be the best that I can be, and to try and make a positive difference in everything that I do. So, saviour of the Scottish dairy industry. Well, I never thought I'd be a Nuffield Scholar, so if you don't aim high, you'll never achieve anything. And also, if I had a waist like that, I might get more farmers at my meetings. It would be wrong of me to proceed any further in my presentation without extending a huge thank you to the Nuffield Farming Scholarship and the McRobert Trust for seeing something in me on that daunting day in my interview in London. To my long-suffering husband, St. John, and to our 2 gorgeous daughters, Charlotte and Nicola, but also to our friends and family, to my work colleagues at Dairy Co, and to my wonderful Scottish dairy farmers, who without which this last 2 years of travels, adventures and experiences would never have been possible. The support and encouragement and help that I've received from all these quarters has been incredible, and they've all helped to keep me on the straight and narrow and to keep me focused at times when I've questioned and times when I've wobbled. I must also add an additional thank you to NFU Scotland, Hope's Auction, Genus ABS and the Westmoreland Show Society, who also offered me some additional support. So as you can see, I was not on this journey alone. I am an extension officer for Dairy Co in Scotland. My work entails me running discussion groups with dairy farmers. These can vary from business, succession, from foot trimming, slurry management, heat detection, building design. My work is varied and never 2 days the same. I feel I'm in a privileged position to getting to work with some of the most challenging and some of the best dairy farmers in the world. But I was starting to question my effectiveness in translating best practice and in translating new ideas and technology to then actually getting my farmers implementing and benefiting from these ways of working, and then to benefit with by seeing the results in their pockets. I felt I was repeating myself and having very little implementation, improvement or change. I was becoming frustrated. How could I be more effective in influencing, motivating change? Had discussion groups had their day? So I decided to lift my head up and to look around the world to see if there were more effective ways of influencing, motivating change. I travelled for just over 11 weeks, visiting Ireland, Canada, America, Chile, Peru and Brazil with my 3 amigos, in Victoria, Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand in the North and South Island, and also Wales, which I'm glad to be back again. Here I interviewed a broad spread of individuals, companies, industries and perspectives. From prison sergeants in a high security prison in Penetanguishene, Canada, universities and lecturers on behavioural change, milk buyers, researchers, consultants, city tycoons, extension officers, entrepreneurs, cattle barons, county commissioners, motivational speakers, farmers, farmers' wives, and many a lonely barman. I began to see a common theme appearing. I found people's thinking is regulated through 4 major processes: cognitive, motivational, emotional and decisional. What people hear and what you have said can be completely different things. You need to test people that they've heard and understood what you have actually wanted them to hear. You need to keep asking them the same question but in different ways, and then check that you are getting the same answer. So whether this be getting your children to make the beds and put the washing in their clothes away, or asking your husband to not just put the dishes on top of the dishwasher, to open the dishwasher and put the dishes inside, because apparently it saves the life expectancy of the hinges. I the right speakers, that I had the right topics. But was I asking enough questions? But more importantly, was I listening sufficiently to hear if I was getting the right answers back? Whilst on my travels, I was so lucky to meet some of the most inspirational people. Innovation and motivation oozing from their every beings. But when I asked these people, what was your light bulb moment? When did things suddenly change? What made things happen? Incredibly, 70% of those people, it was when they'd had a breakdown. It was when things had gone bad. Whether it be a marriage breakdown, financial meltdown, an injury, a health issue, it was pretty bad. Their backs were against the walls. They had to do with something there and then or give up. But I don't think this needs to be the case, and I certainly don't want it to be the case for me. There were 3 common traits that I started to see from all these people that I was interviewing. They all had vision, they all had communication and collaboration. Vision. Do you know where you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years? Do you know where you want to be tomorrow? And do you know what that vision will look like when you get there? Communication. It's all well and good having this vision, but if you cannot communicate it, how are you going to get it out there? And collaboration. Do you have the skills, the finances, and the money to achieve your goals and your vision? If you have, crack on. What's holding you back? But if you don't, does this need to be your stalling point? Find someone who has. But to do this, you need to be able to communicate, because you never know, that person might be sitting right beside you. These are all key traits. Know where you are now, know where you want to be, and know what you need to do to get there. Because if you don't have an agreed goal, and that goal is not written down, and if you have not understood and shared that goal with your staff, your partners, your marital partnership, how can you ever know if you have achieved it? Or if you've strayed off the path? Or just how close you were to achieving it before you gave up? My findings. I am delighted to say, Wallace, that our discussion groups are very much alive and well, and they have huge growth potential worldwide. To be effective in influencing and motivating change, our industry needs to be driving forward with agreed goals, vision and targets. Our industry needs to identify and invest in and then support and development the potential new industry leaders. And as an industry, we need to be more effective. We need to be a cohesive network that removes duplication. An industry making access and information easier and services more available. To improve communication and to speed up change, we need a dairy bureau, Go Dairy, a one-stop shop that links government, service providers, industry and farmers. This one-stop shop will reduce duplication, reduce wasted resources, and will make access and information and support so much easier. It will highlight skills and service gaps so industry can pull together the information that our farmers need to be the best and to be the most effective in the world. Dairyco and industry need to be looking further into the future. What will dairying look like in 10, 20, 50 years' time? Let's create that vision, let's educate and let's inform. We need to build confidence in our farmers to grow an ambitious dairy industry. We need agreed industry goals, targets and key performance indicators. But we urgently need to identify and nurture new leaders. We must encourage these new leaders to take time off farm, but this must not be at their own personal cost to their business or family. They must be reimbursed professionally. So, what have I implemented since returning from this epic life-enhancing journey? Well, I can now effectively influence and motivate my children to put their washing away, to tidy the house and to make their beds. I'm still working on St. John and the dishwasher. I am running business-focused discussion groups where the groups agree aims, objectives with clear goals, reviewing and mentoring. I'm working with NFU Scotland and Dairyco to develop and implement industry key performance indicators. But most excitingly, I have just put a business proposal together to the Scottish Government. which has been accepted and supported by James Withers in the Dairy Strategy Review, which was commissioned earlier this year by the Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Richard Lockhead. This was asking for 50% government funding and 50% industry funding, which I'm delighted to say Dairyco has offered to contribute. This will be a one-stop shop, a directory where all businesses and service providers to the Scottish dairy industry register, and they also register what service it is that they can offer. I have then segmented the industry in 4 groups: school leavers, apprenticeships and young farmers. What skills does this group of people need, and who can provide these skills? The second layer is herdsmen and staff. Again, what skills does this section need, and who can provide information for these people? Third one is farm managers and farm owners. They're possibly needing less of the technical skills, more business, accountancy, governance and strategy. Who has this information for them? Where do they need to go? And finally, the top tier is CEO, board members, governors and directors. Again, what skills are these people needing, and who can provide them? So with one simple directory, with one click of a mouse, you can source a foot trimming course for a new member of staff, a staff management and HR awareness day for your farm manager, and also you can book yourself on a directorship workshop. It is simple, it is effective, it is time-saving, for business and life-enhancing. So, before Nuffield, if someone had asked me what my mission, vision and values were, it would probably have been to work hard and play hard. Today, my mission, to be the saviour of the Scottish dairy industry. I know I'm going to get ribbed for that. My vision, to make a positive difference, empowering people to see opportunities, enabling a dairy industry with pride, a dairy industry with innovation and a heads-up attitude, living it every day to the full, but remembering to invest in the bank of family. And my values, to be the best that I can be, bringing out the best in myself and others, and living every day to the full, but remembering to invest in the bank of family, and to be rewarded with happiness, security, integrity, respect, fun, happiness, and to kick ass. Thank you.